Hello, this is the Toddlers service of St Mary's Church, Jersey in the Channel Islands, and we are doing the service back in church on a Thursday, but this filming's from my kitchen, and it's the service for Thursday the 30th of December 2021, and we're going to have a story, and this week's story is about more visitors who went to see the new little Jesus. And there'll be some singing to join in with. So we're going to start with a song to join in with the actions. If I go climbing. The actions start off with climbing.
Let's go climbing up a huge mountain.
If I go climbing, 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 if I go climbing, God is there. If I go climbing on the highest mountain, God is there, 'cause He is everywhere.
Now, let's get into our boats.
Can you go rowing in a boat?
If I go rowing, 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 if I go rowing, God is there. If I go rowing on the widest river, God is there, 'cause He is everywhere.
Let's go swimming.
Can you swim
Right to the bottom of the ocean.
in the ocean?
If I go swimming, 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 if I go swimming, God is there. If I go swimming to the bottom of the ocean, God is there, 'cause He is everywhere.
Can you get into your car?
You're
Put your
driving?
seatbelt, ready to go for a
Seatbelt.
drive.
If I go driving, 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 if I go driving, God is there. If I go driving far away, God is there, 'cause He is everywhere.
Now we're going flying on an
Fly
aeroplane.
around the room.
If I go flying, 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 if I go flying, God is there. If I go flying on the biggest airplane, God is there, 'cause He is everywhere.
Can you curl up on the floor?
Pretend to be
Go
asleep.
to sleep.
If I go sleeping, 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 if I go sleeping, God is there. If I go sleeping on the darkest night, God is there, 'cause He is everywhere.
Now we're going to sing the song about two little eyes. You can join in that if you know it. Two little eyes to look to God, two little ears to hear His word, two little feet to walk in His ways, two little lips to sing His praise, two little hands to do His will, and one little heart to love Him still. Now there's another song to sing along to, Jesus is my best friend. And the actions start off like this, a bit like shaking hands. Jesus is my best friend, my best friend, my best friend. Jesus is my best friend, He's always there for me. Jesus is my best friend, my best friend, my best friend. stand up. We're going to sing the dinosaur song. When we do this in church, my grandson stamps and roars like a dinosaur. Can you roar? Roar, roar. Stamp, stamp, stamp. Roar, roar. Roar, roar, roar. Roar, roar, roar. Roar, roar. Many, many years ago, walking on the earth, supermassive animals with teeth and claws and fur. And some could swim and fly and crawl, but way more radical is that God who made them is alive and greater than them all. God is bigger than a dinosaur, taller than a dinosaur, stronger than a dinosaur. Roar, roar, roar. God is older than a dinosaur, more mighty than a dinosaur, more awesome than a dinosaur. Roar, roar, roar. Roar, roar, roar. Stomp, roar, roar. Tyrannosaurus Rex, king above the rest. Stegosaurus bark, the water-blooded curs lay eggs. Only God could know it all, but way more radical is that he could bring them back to life. Now wouldn't that be cool? God is bigger than a dinosaur, taller than a dinosaur, stronger than a dinosaur. Roar, roar, roar. God is older than a dinosaur, more mighty than a dinosaur, awesome than a dinosaur. Roar, roar, roar. No fossil is not extinct, is with us here and now, and forever he'll be alive. Let's roar his praises now. Roar, roar, roar. God is bigger than a dinosaur, taller than a dinosaur, stronger than a dinosaur. Roar, roar, roar. God is bigger than a dinosaur, more mighty than a dinosaur, more awesome than a dinosaur. Roar, roar, roar. Roar, roar, roar. Stomp, stomp. Roar, roar, roar. Roar, 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 roar. And dinosaurs go off into the distance. I'm now going to sing the song about Mr. Noah, who built a great big wooden boat called an ark because God told him to. God told him to take 2 of all the animals into the ark to keep them safe when it rained and the floods came, and his family. Mr. Noah built an ark, the people thought it such a lark. Mr. Noah pleaded so, but into the ark they would not go. Down came the rain in torrents, splish, splash. Down came the rain in torrents, splish, splash. Down came the rain in torrents, and all the 8 were saved. The animals went in 2 by 2, the big giraffe and the kangaroo. All were safely stowed away until that great and terrible day, when down came the rain in torrents, splish, splash. Down came the rain in torrents, splish, splash. Down came the rain in torrents, and all the 8 were saved. So, whenever you see a rainbow, whenever you see a rainbow, whenever you see a rainbow, remember God is love. And I'm going to get up again, because because we've got the wiggle song to sing. And we're going to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle to the music, and then when it tells us, we freeze. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Wiggle, 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 freeze. Wiggle, 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 freeze.
I said I got to get those wiggles out of me. I'm gonna shake my hands, gonna shake my feet. I'm gonna shake my head, I'm gonna move to the beat. Cause I got to get those wiggles out of me. I said I got to get those wiggles out of me. Wiggle, 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 wiggle,
Freeze.
wiggle, 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 wiggle,
Freeze.
I said I got to get the wiggles out of me. Skiddly scat, skiddly doo. I've got to get those wiggles out of me, 'cause I wanna hear the story. It's gonna be fun to hear about Jesus is for everyone. So I gotta get those wiggles out of me. Wiggle, 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 wiggle,
Freeze.
wiggle, 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 wiggle,
Freeze.
I said I gotta get the wiggles out of me. I said I gotta get those wiggles out of me. I said I gotta get those wiggles out of me.
Wiggle, 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 wiggle. And I've got 2 prayers to read from these books. And I said this week's story is about some visitors who also went to see the new little Jesus. And those visitors we call wise men or kings. The prayer says, we're thinking of the wise men and the special shining star. We're thinking that we might travel with them. Is Bethlehem very far? The lights and tinsel sparkle, yet deep inside we dream that as we tell the story of Lord Jesus and his birth, the things of every day will fade as heaven comes to the earth. And we say, Amen. And here's another prayer, because the wise men brought presents, they brought gifts. This prayer says, Christmas time is a time for presents. Giving presents is a bit like hugging someone that you like. One person gives, the other one receives because they love each other. You can see the gift even though you cannot see the love. Dear God, at Christmas time, you gave yourself in the form of the baby Jesus as a gift to the world. We say, Amen. Now we say the little rhyme because it reminds us that the stories are from God's book, the Word. Now is the time to listen. Now is the time to see. We'll open God's book to hear what He has to tell me. So this is the story. And it says in the Bible that there were 3 wise men. 3 wise men. Here they are. Sometimes we call them kings. They brought very, very expensive gifts, so maybe they were kings. And these wise men used to read in the books about stars. They were very interested in stars. and they'd read that if a new king was born, there would be a very special star. And the wise men saw a very special star in the sky. So they followed it. They wanted to go and visit this new king. And the star moved, and as it moved, the three wise men travelled, following where the star led them to. And the star led them to Bethlehem. When they got to Bethlehem, they found Mary and Joseph and the little Jesus. Now we know from the Bible he wasn't a tiny baby anymore like last week. He'd grown up a bit. Maybe he was a toddler. Maybe he managed to get round and hold on to his mummy's clothes. He was grown up a bit. He wasn't a baby anymore. And the family weren't living in a stable anymore. Maybe they'd gone to a house. Maybe Joseph, who was a carpenter, had found some work. But we know they were still in Bethlehem. And the wise men followed the star because the star stopped over the place where Jesus was with his mother Mary and Joseph. And the wise men were very, very pleased that they'd found the new king, even though he was a tiny baby. And the wise men had bought special gifts for the new baby. The wise men had come a long way. Maybe they'd come on camels across the desert, so their gifts were wrapped up in cloth. But we know that the gifts were very expensive things. Look, here's the first gift, and it says in the Bible that the first gift that was unwrapped was gold. Can you see it sparkling? The first gift that was unwrapped was gold. And then it says in the Bible, here's the next gift, and that one that was unwrapped, that was an expensive perfume called frankincense. An expensive perfume. Then the third gift that was unwrapped by the wise men, it says in the Bible that the third gift was a substance called myrrh. Now myrrh was a sort of gum that had hardened, and it was very precious. It was a sort of solid perfume called myrrh. So there was gold and frankincense and myrrh, really expensive presents that the wise men had bought for the baby who'd grown up a bit. But the only thing they knew about him was he was a king. They knew he'd been born fairly recently. They knew he would be born in Bethlehem, and they knew he was a king. So they were very pleased when they found Mary and Joseph and the new little Jesus, the king, who would grow up to be a king. And that's the story of the wise men and the gifts, the presents they brought for the little Jesus. I'm going to sing the rhyme about my God is so big. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. Clap, clap. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. Clap, clap. The rivers are his, the mountains are his, the stars are his handiwork too. Clap, clap. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. Clap, clap. And we talk about stars, and we remember that the star that the wise men saw was a new star, and they followed it as it moved across the sky, and then it stopped over the place in Bethlehem where the little Jesus was. God can do wonderful things. Now we're going to sing the last song that we dance around the room to, and maybe you've got some musical instruments. I've got a bottle with some rice, and we're going to sing What Noise Shall We Make?
What noise shall we make to say that God is great? What noise shall we make unto the Lord? Let's make a loud noise to say that God is great. Let's make a loud noise unto the Lord. Here is my loud noise. Here is my loud noise. Here is my loud noise. What noise shall we make to say that God is great? What noise shall we make unto the Lord? Let's make a quiet noise to say that God is great. Let's make a quiet noise unto the Lord. Here is my quiet noise. Here is my quiet noise. Here is my quiet noise unto the Lord. What noise shall we make to say that God is great? What noise shall we make unto the Lord? Let's make a fast noise to say that God is great. Let's make a fast noise unto the Lord. Here is my fast noise. Here is my fast noise. Here is my fast noise unto the Lord. What noise shall we make to say that God is great? What noise shall we make unto the Lord? Let's make a slow noise to say that God is great. Let's make a slow noise unto the Lord. Here is my slow noise. Here is my slow noise. Here is my slow noise unto the Lord. Dance from the room. Lots of noise. And that's the end of this week's story and service from St Mary's Church, Jersey, in the Channel Islands. And there'll be a different story next week, and songs to sing along to and to dance to. Bye-bye.